Hey, what's up, everybody? Brian McCauley here. On today's episode of Wallet Watch, I had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Compound Interest himself, Curtis Ray. This guy is literally cracked the code on how to safeguard your money and never lose. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Wallet Watch. I am your host, Brian McCauley. First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support. If you're joining us for the first time, Wallet Watch is a podcast platform that I created that really is all about keeping your eyes on your money. We focus a lot around the real estate industry, the mortgage space, kind of the entrepreneurial life, and really all things financial. The purpose of this platform is just to instruct and educate people on better business moves and also smart money moves. Speaking of smart money moves, today's show is a special one, man. My next guest is a financial wizard, nothing short of a genius. This guy is one of the industry leaders when it comes to helping people invest money and make money on their money. So without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Compound Interest himself, Curtis Ray. Curtis, welcome to the show, my man.
I'm really excited to be here, Brian, and we've been trying to do this podcast for a while now, and so I'm super excited it's finally happening.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, before we get into the fun stuff and all the meat and potatoes and you educate us on everything, for those that don't know you personally or don't know anything about you professionally, kind of fill us in. Who are you? What do you do for a living? How long have you been in the biz? All that fun stuff.
My name's Curtis Ray. I'm from Gilbert, Arizona, born and raised Arizona, and there aren't very many of us that are natives. My parents are natives, my grandparents are natives. So when it comes to Arizona, I'm Arizona. I had a granite countertop business for 10 years. I learned how to make a lot of money, but no one ever taught me how to keep money. It is so easy to make money. It is so difficult to keep money. Being married with 5 children, it's very important that I learn how to, manage my money correctly and make sure my family's protected, my kids are protected, and they're on the path to financial freedom. And so in 2014, after a few unfortunate mistakes with money and losing millions of dollars in a single day, we don't like days like that, and I hope to never have that day again, I decided to take my talents to finance. I went all in on being the single expert in the world, not how you make money, because everyone in the world is going to teach you how to make money. You're going to see Instagram posts, TikTok posts on here's how you make a bunch of money. But I want to be the world's expert on once you have money or once you're making a little bit of money, where do you put it? How do you get it compounding? How do you protect it? And most important, like you just said, money making money. You got to get your money working for you. That is the easiest path to financial freedom because money comes and goes. Compound interest stays forever.
Dude, that's so good. I couldn't think of a better time to talk about this too. We're just right in the thick of the meat and potatoes of inflation. People don't know what's up, what's down. I think, including myself, people just want some clarity. They want some stability with all the volatility in the market. And they say what should I invest in? Where should I go? What should I actually do? And so for you, you got something special that, I found you online a year ago. We chatted back and forth, but what you're doing, what you're educating people on is just high level. And I want to know more about it. So, your biggest thing I want to start here is just the MPI secured compound interest account. And so I want to start there and just say, hey, what is that? What does it stand for? Educate everybody, including me, on a low level all the way up of what you're doing and what MPI is.
Yeah, the biggest issue with investing and financial planning and retirement planning is there are 2 types of interest that people get confused that they're the same thing. And one is called investment interest and one is called compound interest. And everyone thinks they're getting compound interest, but they're actually getting investment interest. And that's the interest that goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down inside of the stock market. I mean, how freaking crazy has the roller coaster been the last 2 months inside the stock market? And everyone thinks, oh yeah, I'm getting compound interest. No, that's a counterfeit. Compound interest never goes backwards. It never loses. So when you find a system that is only going up or at least break even in the bad times and then goes up and breaks even and goes up, that is actual compound interest. So in 2014, I noticed that there's almost no compound interest in the whole world. It's almost impossible to find because real estate goes up and down, investments go up and down, most everything goes up and down. And so me and a few certified financial planners, insurance companies, financial advisors, we got together and we built, in my point of view, the truest and first true compound interest account. It's called MPI Maximum Premium Indexing. And it kind of evolved all 3 of the main interest platforms in the world. You have the stock market that makes the most investment interest. You got the real estate world that makes the most leveraged interest. And then you got the life insurance company that makes the most compound interest. And I said, I want all three. I want to make my money guaranteed security. That's the life insurance portion. That's compound interest. I want to be able to make stock market-like returns. So we built a platform inside the S&P 500. Everyone likes that. And then lastly, leverage it. You got to use someone else's money. If your money's only so good, if you're only using your money to build wealth, it could potentially take 50 years to get there. But use someone else's money alongside of your money, now it takes 15 years, 20 years to get there. So MPI stands for Maximum Premium Indexing. It's a life insurance contract that guarantees you, literal contractual guarantee, that you will not lose a single penny inside the stock market. You grow inside the S&P 500, and then we leverage it. And by doing those three things, you can increase your retirement income by up to 200% over the 401k, Roth IRA, or real estate rentals. And it is one of a kind. No one in the world's ever seen it. And why? Because it's true compound interest. And as Albert Einstein said, compound interest, eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. And my goal and my passion is to make sure every single human being, every single person who lives in this world understands what compound interest is, how do you get it, and ultimately achieve the retirement you deserve.
Yeah, dude, it's been incredible watching you and your journey, educating me, fixing to jump in this big investment with you to getting things done. One of the things I want to figure out and have you, for everybody that's watching, figure out, did MPI exist before you created, or this is literally a formula you and your crew put together and got in the lab and said, this is it? Are you guys the genesis of it?
So that's a fun story. In 1997, the first MPI, or leveraged life insurance contract, actually was invented. But you had to have $5 million in net worth to even qualify for it. So as always, rich get richer, poor get poorer, and no one gets the great benefits unless you're uber rich, right? And that's why rich people just keep getting richer and richer and richer, because they protect their money, they grow their money, they leverage their money, and they end up with everything they want. In 2014, I was introduced to this really amazing life insurance contract because I kind of hit that $5 million net worth position, and someone kind of said, hey, Curtis, welcome to the club. You now get the good stuff. And I have 9 brothers and sisters, and I'm in a community, my family's in a community that we've been in for 100 years now. I said, that is not fair. Like, that is not cool that I'm getting all this amazing things and my brothers and sisters and everyone else can't get it. And so I literally on that day said, I'm going to build the MPI plan for everyday Americans. I'm going to personally build it. A few people joined me, but yeah, we are the brainchildren. I'm the brainchild of it. I built the whole thing from scratch. I basically took all the concepts that existed in this very exclusive product, is very exclusive, only for the uber rich. And I said, no, we're going to redesign this thing. We're going to build it that even someone who's making $30,000 a year can take advantage of guaranteed security, growth potential of the stock market, leveraging the bank's money, life insurance companies' money, other people's money to accelerate their wealth, so they too are on a path to financial freedom. And the amazing thing is, it only takes $200, $300, $400 a month for 30 or 35 years before you achieve millionaire status. Right. So literally, we've now designed in 2014, first time in the history of personal finance, and I don't overstate that, the very first time in the personal finance that every single human being, at least in the United States of America, is on the path to financial freedom, on the path to millionaire status and 6-figure tax-free retirement income. So that's the fun little story behind it.
That's so incredible. I love to hear things like that, because to your point, retirement plans are just a playbook. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do, how long will it take. You guys have fast-tracked that and given it to people who are, everyday Americans that are hardworking. It doesn't mean if you're wealthy you can't participate, but it doesn't exclude you if you're not. What I think is great.
Yeah, do what the rich people do, and you'll end up rich.
Right. So you touched on it a little bit, but give me kind of like the high level of what's the biggest difference of this investment versus your traditional. If somebody says, hey, what are the 3 things that are the biggest difference that I'll be able to notice, or bullet point, what would they be?
Yeah, we always call it the triple advantage of compound interest. Okay. The thing inside the MPI Secure Compound Interest Account that you can get in an everyday life insurance contract is you cannot lose money in the stock market. Think how amazing that is. We have an opportunity now that you can go get a great retirement, build all the things without the stresses and frustrations and anxieties of money. All those things with the stock market losing up to, I think it's at 18% negative right now for this year. And financial advisors, they totally cop out and say, oh, well, it will rebound. you knew it was an investment, something that will come back eventually, and it will come back eventually. Except for you had stresses and anxieties and frustrations and worries and all this stuff. We've eliminated that. You no longer have any concern for the stock market risk, and so that's the biggest thing. Because once you eliminate risk, you now have compound interest.
Right.
You cannot have compound interest inside of risk. The second thing we did is like the stock market grows well. So what we did is we built something that grows with the stock market, and when the stock market plummets, your account value freezes. You basically have insurance on your money. Why do you buy insurance on your car, your health, your life, all those things? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of insurance, Brian?
Just in case there's a loss.
Just in case. So wouldn't it only make sense to protect and insure your retirement plan?
Of course.
You can do that. People didn't even know you can insure your retirement plan, and it's one of the most important assets you'll ever have in your whole life. Your health is number one. Your financial freedom is probably number two. And so we insure your retirement plan. So we're building in the stock market. We insure your retirement plan so it freezes every time you lose, and that's just what we call an indexed universal life. Nothing special about it. You have one. I have one. Everyone has. Everyone's talking about how an indexed universal life is really good, and it's good. It's not great, but the third feature is what sets MPI apart from every other insurance contract, every other whole life contract, every other stock market, 401ks, IRAs, index funds, mutual funds, everything. And that we've teamed up with an insurance company that offers a match program. Think about that. Everyone goes, oh, all you're doing is offering a match program. Exactly. If you take a 401k and you add a match to it, it's basically double the results, right? If you get a 100% match, you double the result. Inside of MPI, we've teamed up with A+ rated life insurance companies that are willing to offer match programs to their clients. If you're a good client and you make your premiums, they're willing to accelerate your plan as a bonus to your policy. So now you have guaranteed security, growth of the stock market, and extra money working alongside with your money. You've just doubled the potential of compound interest in your life. And that single feature, we call it the RELOC, Retirement Equity Line of Credit. No different than a HELOC in a house. You can go get bank's money when you have equity in your house, and you can go invest that to buy more appreciating assets. We do the exact same thing inside of MPI. You put money inside of MPI, it's guaranteed, it's guaranteed secure, it's growing, etc. The life insurance company will give you a RELOC, a retirement equity line of credit against your cash value. You go take that money and buy more appreciating assets, or just make your compound interest inside of MPI grow even faster. By doing those three things, protecting, growing, and leveraging, you can increase your retirement income, like I said earlier, by literally up to 200% over the 401k, IRA, index funds, whole life, indexed universal life. It's not even close. It's so much better. It's almost comparing a Tesla Plaid to a Prius. That's how much difference there is on MPI compared to every other financial strategy I see in the market today.
So I'm going to ask the question everybody's thinking right now, and the same thing that I thought before I discovered you, which is, with a vehicle this good and this strong, why don't more people know about MPI?
Because it takes time. Evolution is always rejected when it starts. Innovation is always rejected. Tesla was around since 2003. You didn't hear about it until 2017. It takes about 10 to 15 years for every great innovation to go in the market. Here's a crazy story. John Bogle invented the indexed fund in 1975. 1975. And the index fund is so mathematically more secure and powerful, and the results are better than traditional money managers. It beats money managers up to 91% of the time. And it was invented in 1975, mathematically secure. You could verify, you could back it, you could do everything to it. And it was not accepted till early 2000s. It took 25 years before this math equation of doing index funds was even embraced by the financial community. Our human minds have this really weird thing. We fear what we don't understand, and we seek to destroy what we fear. And so every time an innovation comes to the market, how many people talk bad about Netflix, Blockbuster? No, Blockbuster's always going to be the way. It took Netflix 10 to 15 years before they got any market share at all. Tesla, indexed funds. And so MPI, surprisingly, we've only been around, we were approved by regulatory and compliance boards in 2018. So we've been around for 4 years, and we already have thousands and thousands of people coming in. So I think we're doing such a good job. TikTok has been huge. Instagram's been huge, where I can get my voice out faster than any other generation's been able to do it. We've been able to get this voice out faster. Half the world hates me, so they do ugly videos about me. He's a scam. He's a con artist. And I'm like, it's just a mathematical equation.
Right.
Like everything I say is verifiable. Like we're backed by multi-billion-dollar A+ rated life insurance companies that have been around for 100 years. You think they're going to back a scammer?
Sure.
You think they didn't do all the math and make sure it was everything was right that we said? And so I believe it's going to take about 12 years. That's my projection. Is we're at 4 years now. At 12 years, 8 years from today, there will not even be an IRA. It will not exist, just like Blockbuster doesn't exist, just like BlackBerry doesn't exist. Things come in, innovation comes in, it takes a while to take over, and then one day it stomps everything out. It removes all the inefficiencies, IRAs, Roth IRAs, even 401ks. I would not be surprised if there's an MPI 401k for business owners in the next 5 to 10 years.
Crazy, man. So, people that are watching this, their first thought is, okay, well, what do I need to do to qualify? How do I apply? So talk to us a little bit about that, right? How do people go about getting started?
Yeah, it is a life insurance contract, so health does play a role, and that's the biggest flaw to MPI right now. Is about 10 to 15% of the people who apply are being declined because of poor health, extreme obesity, bad driving records. They skydive without a parachute, crazy things like that.
Right.
And so we're actually developing MPI 2.0. It's going to fix a lot of these little problems of people not being able to qualify, but that's still a couple years. Every time you make a change to MPI, it takes 3 to 4 years to get approved through compliance and regulatory boards. I mean, you're in the finance industry. It is so difficult to get something approved through these major, boards and because they have to make sure that it's safe for the public and it's protected and things like that. And so we are going to fix it, but you got to go through a life insurance health exam. You got to pass a life insurance health exam. It's not over intrusive. You can be a little bit overweight. You don't have to be perfect health, but you got to pass. The second thing you need to be religiously willing to save money. If you're not willing to put money to get to work for you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And so we try to help people change their mindset that no. Saving is not a bad thing. That is something you should be excited about. That's something you should be looking for. Holy crap, in 15 years, I can retire if I save $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month or whatever that number is. Or, hey, we have dual income household. How about we live on my income? We find a way to live on my income and we save your income, or we save half of your income. Like it should be this exciting, awesome, paying myself, paying my future. So one day in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, depending on what your situation is, you can achieve financial freedom. And in my mind, the definition of financial freedom is to have more money in retirement than while you were working. That is called 100% or full retirement. Financial advisors are so funny to me. And you're going to laugh when I say this because everyone says this. Don't worry, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. Financial advisors love to say that. Their plans suck so bad that you won't have any money to spend, so you won't pay any taxes. And I'm like, you guys are so backwards. If I were a financial advisor like them, I'd be bragging about getting you in the highest tax bracket.
Right.
Hey, you're going to have to pay about $100,000 in taxes, but I got you $400,000. So who cares, right? We're good to go. And so if you pass the health exam and you're willing to save money and make it exciting, make it a goal, talk about it with your spouse, make sure it's something you guys believe in together. So when you make a decision, go here or go here, which one makes it for your best future? And then third, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor is your retirement built in a day. All these people want to go on Instagram and go do a call option strategy to make $10 million in 1 year just because one person did it. One person invested in Shiba coin and got $5 billion or something like that. So everyone and their mom's trying to get the new Shiba coin to make $5 billion. Guys, enjoy your life. Enjoy the journey. I know, Brian, you love what you do. I love what I do. We go on vacation sometimes. You invited me down to Costa Rica or wherever you were that one time, right? And it's like you find something you love to do with the goal that you're going to be retired someday so that you don't hate your life.
Right.
It may take 20 years to get there, but enjoy the journey. Go out with your kids. Take 2 vacations a year. You don't have to live poor like, some of these other podcasts are saying, oh, don't buy an iPhone or you're stupid, or don't buy a nice car. No. Find ways to make more money enjoy the journey, save a little money, 10 to 20% of your income, and you're going to get there. But you enjoyed the journey the whole time. So when you finally go to retire, you now get enjoyed even more. Just go enjoy it even more because you have more income in retirement than while you're working. That, my friend, is financial freedom. And that's what we want for every single American.
It's really cool, man. I mean, obviously, there's very little downside. There's a lot of upside. And one of the things I want you to lean on for people in here that, stuck out to me was you talk about the guaranteed security. Hey, you put your money in, it's guaranteed. If it drops, you hit the brakes, skirt until things change here and there. That's one of the things that people are so scared about, whether they're, saving or investing 10 bucks or 100. They work so hard for the money. They pay taxes on it. They want to push it in, but they're just concerned that they're going to lose it. So talk to me about the guaranteed piece. What's all involved there? How can you guys get guaranteed that the money's going to be all right?
Yeah, so what ends up happening, I'm going to do a high level view of it, is the insurance companies basically insuring your money. They basically guarantee that you cannot lose, no different than your car, your health, anything. But how it actually works is this. When you put your money into a life insurance contract, you get a guaranteed dividend-like return every single year. It's guaranteed. It's paid out for 150 years. Whole life insurance is that. You literally put your money in, you get this guaranteed dividend-like return of 3 to 5% or whatever it is, and that's just what it gets. And that's why I don't like whole life insurance, is because it barely outpaces inflation after 30 years. It doesn't make you any money. It's just this guaranteed system. So if you're looking for like generational wealth and you want to pass down money to your children, whole life can work. But if you're looking to build wealth for yourself, it's a bad idea. And so what we do is if you put in $10,000, let's just say, and you get $400 dividend-like growth, all we're doing is investing that $400 into the market, into a thing called an S&P 500 call option. So that $400 is the only thing at risk. If it blows up that year, you still have $10,000. None of your money was at risk ever. And if it blows up that year, you lost your money, 2008 happens, all you did was lost your dividend for that year, that dividend-like growth. You still have $10,000. And then the next year you get your dividend-like growth again. We go 70% of the time historically, you make a ton of money inside the market. 30% of the time you lose your dividend-like growth for that year. As your account grows bigger and you put more money into it, your dividend-like growth gets bigger because 4% dividend-like growth on 20,000 is bigger than 10,000. And so it's this really awesome compound system that guarantees all the money you put in plus all your growth over time is 100% protected, and only 1 year at a time is that little tiny dividend-like growth ever at risk. And when you do those two things balanced out together, it's a nice balance, yin and yang, of security versus risk. When you bring it together, that's how we get compound interest. And then when the insurance company offers a match program, they're putting money inside your account. Now your dividend-like growth is bigger, so you go buy more of the stock options.
Right.
And now that's how we accelerate this thing. That's how we retire in 15 years. In your scenario and how much you're saving, I think we can retire you in 10 years if you want to. But as you know, retirement's not about not working.
Right.
It's about doing what you want, when you want, with whom you want.
Yep.
Me and you are already retired. We make enough money. We retired, but I am here right now because I absolutely love it. You're here right now because you absolutely love it. And I'm going to work till the day I die. But I have the freedom to choose when I work. I was up at my cabin yesterday. I'm going to Costa Rica, Hawaii, or whatever, right?
Nice.
And that's what I want everyone to understand is we're not trying to get you where you don't have to work anymore. We want to get you where you can expand your passions. You have enough money now, you get to go do what you want. And that could be start a nonprofit, start a business, small business owner. All the things you've always wanted to do in your life are now available to you if you just start right now and start paying yourself first, saving money, getting that money compounding, and then leverage it. Let the MPI system do everything it needs to do. And we're here for you, help you anytime you want.
Dude, it's crazy, man. So let's talk about some other cool features of this, right? Because I know at this point in the podcast, people's ears are perking up and they're starting to think like, what do I want to do for my stuff? So talk about the fun parts. So is there a minimal initial investment that people have to do to get started?
Absolutely. A lot of fun parts about MPI, and I'm just going to kind of go down the list and kind of nail them out right now. The minimum to start MPI is around 10 times your age. Because of a life insurance contract, the IRS has these weird IRS codes that require you to put X amount in if you want all these features and benefits I'm about to lay out. And it's about 10 times your age. The younger you are, the smaller the commitment. The older you are, the bigger the commitment. So if you're 30 years old, a $300 a month commitment is required to get all the benefits I'm about to talk about. And so just take your age times by 10. That's what we need monthly. And if you do that, you're on the path to a pretty awesome retirement. Other amazing features inside of MPI that especially investors love to hear. we are not exposed to any capital gains tax. So all your growth inside of MPI, because it's a life insurance contract, the life insurance tax code is the coolest tax code ever. Everyone always likes to brag about the Roth IRA tax code and the 401k tax code and all this stuff. No. Cash value life insurance stomps all of them into the ground. And that's why billionaires and millionaires use cash value life insurance to protect, grow, and leverage their money. So you're no exposure to capital gains tax. All your money that you distribute out in retirement income, 100% tax free. So it's like a Roth IRA on steroids. You can put in basically as much money as you want. So you can get all this money. Everyone goes, oh, you should get a Roth IRA because you don't pay taxes. Yeah, you put $6,000 in a year. What's that going to do for me? It's going to take 50 years just to build wealth. Inside of MPI, you're making good money. You're a sales rep. You're a loan officer. You're a real estate agent. You're a small business owner. You can put in basically unlimited amount of money. I personally put in $1.5 million per year, 100% not exposed to risk of the stock market, 100% not exposed to any capital gains tax. All the distributions I take out of it, already doing it, are 100% tax-free. When I die, it's going to be passed down on my children 100% tax-free. So I've created this guaranteed system of generational wealth that very few things can do that. On top of that, the coolest thing, and I might be jumping the gun here, maybe I'll wait for it. Were you going to do something about infinite banking or just jump right into it?
No. I'm going to get to that next. I just want to make sure that people, if they're thinking about starting a piggy bank with you, hey, this is kind of the initial piece to get going, no taxes. What if a big player is watching this and saying, hey, are there any restrictions? I want to dump $3 million with you tomorrow and do X amount a month. Are there restrictions on how much you can actually push in?
Yeah, the restrictions are about 100% of your annual salary, because the insurance company will not allow you to commit to something that's more than what you're making per year. So obviously someone who's dumping in $2, $3, $4 million probably is making 7 figures. So your maximum amount you're allowed to put in is basically 100% of your annual salary. That's kind of where it's about 100 to 150, somewhere in that range of your maximum amount. So I have a few people come in and says, hey, I'm making $10 million a year. What's my limit? $10 million. Right. That are very, very, very high limits. One amazing other feature about MPI, I mean, there's a lot of other little ones, but it's one of the most legally protected assets in the world against lawsuits, liens, creditors, even liens from the IRS. Very, very secure. So for my small business owners, especially my real estate owners, your rentals are not protected. You had to do a lot of things, put them in trust and do this and 7 different layers to protect them. But inside of an MPI secure compound interest account, they're nearly impossible to sue. Now, you always have to say nearly impossible because there's always a federal judge who can do something or whatever, right? And so all the people want to protect their money. I know so many business owners, including myself, that build these amazing businesses and something can happen. A lawsuit, a death from an employee, an employee suing you for whatever reason, all stuff, and you can lose a lot of stuff overnight. But your money inside of an MPI secure compound interest account has a humongous life insurance shield that protects you against a lot of those other liabilities that comes into everyday living. Small business owners, your money, someone trips on your property and tries to sue you, and the homeowners and insurance only covers $500,000 or something like that. You know?
So to be clear, basically you can't put in more annually than you make. Right. So if somebody wants to unplug and says, hey, I've got $2 million in the stock market, my financial advisor, I want to give that to you as a starter. They can give you up front as much as that they want. They just can't contribute monthly after that any more than their salary, or there's a restriction on the initial investment as well.
Nothing is black and white. And so in a scenario like that where they have high net worth, but maybe they're only making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, and they've saved for 10, 15, 20 years.
Correct.
There's a lot of things that go into factor when building these plans. Is it an estate planning play? That $2, $3, $4 million right now in 30 years from now is projected to be 50, 60, 70 million. So we've got to buy a $30 million life insurance plan for estate planning purposes. And so whenever I find a big fish like that, we go and try to, you didn't qualify for that 1 million, 2 million from your income, but maybe we can qualify through an estate plan, or maybe we can qualify through, so there's various things once we get into these more advanced plans that we can get really creative on, really innovative on, so we can get as much money as possible. But the thing is, the amount of money you put in resets once per year. So let's just say you have $3 million and you only qualified for 1.2 million. that 1.2 million resets every year. So you can put in 1.2 million this year, 1.2 million next year, 1.2 million. And so we're eventually going to get in. You know how fast time goes by. I've already known you for a year, maybe a year and a half, and it just blows by that fast. So if we have to take 2 or 3 years to get it in, and your financial advisor gets to charge you his crazy fees for another year or two, so be it. We're going to get it all inside the secure compound interest account eventually. So just do your best. We build the best plans we possibly can. There are very high limits, but there are limits, and we just build it accordingly. And it may take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get it all in there. I had a girl who family passed away and left her $3 million, and she only makes $100,000 a year. And I'm like, it's going to take you 30 years to get this thing in. And, we did a lot of fun stuff, and we're able to get her qualified a little bit over 200,000. But then I have other plans. I'm just not a one-trick pony. I have an 8% guaranteed dividend fund. So if you gave me, $2 million through this 8% dividend fund, you're going to get $160,000 guaranteed dividend. Guaranteed, and it's just going to pay out to you. And when you cash out at years 4, 8, 12, it resets every year. Basically, auto renews every 4 years. You're committed for 4 years. Then you get all your principal money back. And so when someone in that scenario won a bunch of money, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to put a bunch of money in the 8% guaranteed dividend fund, so you got income to live off of. You can retire today. Right. And then slowly but surely, we're going to be liquidating your money into MPI. And we're just, we have a lot of different features and benefits and plans that we use for every scenario, whether you're old, you're young, small income, large income. We have various plans so that every single person is on the truest, most secure path to compound interest.
Dude, so let's talk about the other side of the coin. You mentioned it earlier, but I don't want to get away from it. I want to pop back in. So that's the investment piece. Let's talk about the infinite banking piece. I think that is one of the strongest things that people that want to maximize their money use it for something else. I want you to talk about that. What is infinite banking? How do real estate investors, business owners, how can they utilize this tool within MPI if they need cash flow for other stuff? Talk about that.
Absolutely. Infinite Bank was created back in the 80s by a guy named Nelson Nash. Really great human being. That guy was a very smart human being. He wrote the book, Infinite Banking, and all this other stuff. But there was a problem. 1980s, the whole life contracts paid a guaranteed dividend, sometimes up to 15%. A guaranteed dividend at 15% back in the 1980s. And they would, and Nelson Nash noticed that there was a loan feature. You could leverage your money against your cash value, not from your cash value, but using your cash value as collateral. You could get a loan from the life insurance company at around 8%. So he had this idea. If my money's making 15%, I don't want to withdraw my money because it's making 15%. I can use the insurance company's money while my money's making 15%. All they do is put a lien on it. Okay, it's collateralization. No big deal. It's still making me 15%. Mm-hmm. I could then go take an 8% loan and go invest it in real estate, in small business, expansion, machinery. I could become my own bank. And interest rates at banks back then were 12, 15, 18% when you wanted a loan, when you wanted to go get a small business loan, mortgage was 18% back then. I mean, it was crazy stuff, right? So he's like, be your own bank. Put your money in a guaranteed dividend system. Go borrow money against the insurance company at a lower rate. You're making a spread even when you're borrowing it. And then you can even go do your other investments with no money from the bank. Super cool concept, right?
Yeah.
It blew up. But unfortunately, in 1995, the dividends dropped. They catastrophically dropped to 7%, 6%, 5.5%. And now we're somewhere around 5.5% right now. And so the problem is and they were using whole life contracts. The whole life contracts have devolved. I mean, they're just not very good anymore. They don't pay very much money. The loan rate after expenses is higher than what you're making. So if you're making a 5 to 6% dividend, after expenses, you're making 3 to 4%. You're borrowing money at 5%, so you're actually losing money to borrow money from a whole life contract. That does not make any sense, but they make so much money, these whole life agents, that they dug their heels into the ground and said, no, Nelson Nash told us to use a whole life contract. Well, what we did at MPI is we evolved. We found a system that can make you around 7 to 10% interest on average. You're making 7 to 10% interest on average, and our loan rate is 4%. So guess what we just created? Where you're making a positive spread even when you're investing the money in real estate, buying machinery, all that other stuff. So we've created the new version of infinite banking that doesn't lose you money like the whole life contract does.
Right.
The MPI Infinite Banking Plan makes 7 to 10% interest on average. When you use it as collateral and borrow money against it, you're still making 3 to 6% interest on average. Even when you're investing the money, then you go do your investment. That means your money is working in 3 places at one time. Think how amazing that is. Your money is guaranteed not to lose inside of MPI, making somewhere around 7 to 10% interest. Then when you leverage against it, it's still making you around 3% interest through the RELOC, retirement equity line of credit, exact same process. And now you go do your investments inside of real estate, making 10, 20%.
Yeah.
You go buy machinery that, a lot of doctors and dentists love to use infinite banking because they need to buy a new x-ray machine or an MRI machine. Small business owners, you need cash flow. You can stuff a ton of money inside of MPI. I already have a ton of infinite banking clients where they put $500,000, $250,000 because these small business owners have a ton of cash flow. They have money literally sitting in a bank account, losing 6, 7, 8% inflation this year.
Sure.
Normally it's 3%. It will, let's just use 3% because that's the normal rate. If you have money in a bank account, you are becoming 3% more poor every single year. We do not want that. So now we've created this system where you can put money in a compound interest account inside of life insurance. You can make 7 to 10% interest. You can leverage against it at any time. No credit checks, no underwriting, no fees. Have instant access to it at 4%, so you're still making a spread. Go do your investment, all those other things. As if you were going to pay your MRI machine $1 million and you're going to pay $10,000 a month to it, now you pay your bank back $10 million. Your own, or $10,000. You pay your own self $10,000, so you're paying yourself the principal and interest, so you'll never pay interest to anyone ever again. You own your own interest. You are your own bank. In the first year, you have around 60% liquidity of what you put in. So if you put in $1 million, you have $600,000 immediately accessible to you. Year 2, you have around 80%. Year 3, you have around 90%. By year 4, 100% of the money you've been putting in every single year, building your bank, doing all this stuff, can be 100% liquid to you as your own bank. They do take a little time to build. That's why you start right now. But in 5 to 10 years, you could have millions of dollars inside this account. Never need a bank again. Never need underwriting again. Oh crap! This is bad for you, right? No, just kidding. Never need a mortgage offer again. No, because I still believe in amortized loans. Those are good. Those are a good thing. I still believe in reverse mortgages. Those are simple interest.
Correct.
You never, ever, ever not pay a simple interest when you can go get compound interest. So there are things that we coach you on that this is a good reason to use your infinite banking plan. No. Go use the bank on that one. The money's cheaper. It's a simple interest, whatever. But any of my investors out there, real estate guys, that's probably who's mostly listening here, small business owners, mortgage officers, if you have a lot of cash and you want to build a bank that's liquid, that's growing, that's secure, no tax, no capital gains tax, no no distribution tax, you can use it also as your retirement plan. It's the other day someone goes, "You're just a one-trick pony." And I said, when your pony name is Secretariat, you run it. That's what we do.
It's crazy, man. Dude, so much good information. So last easy question. I want to kind of segue in a few things before we get out. So assuming somebody could qualify, why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't somebody do it?
There's absolutely no reason. Like I said, this is the test of plaid. Every person who researches it comes to the conclusion that there has been an evolution, an innovation inside of the financial industry. And every 20, 30, 40 years in every industry, there's something new, right? That is just, it takes everything to a next level. And that's what MPI is. In the next 3 to 5 years, there's going to be a bunch of copycats. Everyone will jump up. When BlackBerry was the king, then the iPhone came out. How long did it take till Android came out? Less than a year, right?
Yep.
There's always copycats that jump right in because you have to. You have to evolve or you're dead. You die if you don't evolve. And that's why I believe there will be no Roth IRA. There'll be no IRA in the next 10 years because why would you? Every person who comes to me sincerely, including financial advisors, CFPs, all these different people, they end up looking and be like, holy crap, half my staff worked at Vanguard. They literally were the Vanguard sales team. I went and pitched one of them and I said, guys, the world has changed. If John Bogle were still alive, he would have looked at this and been like, Holy crap, that's awesome. And one by one, they started working with me. They started quitting their jobs. And now half my staff worked at Vanguard. So I know I'm on the right path because Vanguard is all about client first. What do you do to absolutely maximize the client? If you pass your life insurance health exam and you're willing to go all in to save money, and it's not ridiculous, like I said, $300 a month, $500 a month, $1 million a month, whatever you want to do, we're going to build your plan customized to you. If you're willing to do that right now, you are going to look back in 10, 15, 20 years and be like, that was the best financial decision I've ever made in my whole life.
Crazy, man. I'm so glad that you're doing this podcast. I want to expose people to this even more so they understand how to, put their money in the right spot, especially with you, and make money on the money. The exposure piece you mentioned, I found you online. So for everybody that doesn't know, you guys got to follow Curtis. I found him on TikTok. He's on IG. What's your handle so everybody can go follow you?
Yeah, Curtis Ray, CurtisRay on TikTok. I'm verified, 1.5 million followers. Make sure you only follow that one. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fake accounts that try to get you to send them money for WhatsApp and cryptocurrency and all types of crazy things. I will never ask you for money. My financial coaching services are 100% free of charge to everyone. I'm partners with the life insurance company. I make on the big picture. Life is good. So I offer, whether you're my client or not, 100% of my services are free of charge to you. So follow Curtis Ray on TikTok. I am Curtis Ray on Instagram, Curtis Ray on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me. I answer all of my own DMs. I get hundreds of DMs per day. My wife is not very happy about it, but I 100% answer all my own DMs at night. She's like, she must think that like, who the heck are you talking to? Because all night I put the kids to bed, I let her go to sleep, then I pull up my phone and I answer my DMs at night. And so if you send me a message on any platform, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I will personally respond to you, answer your questions, line you up with an MPI certified advisor. I obviously can't do all the one-on-ones by myself. I do maybe a couple a week, but I have about 100 MPI certified advisors across the country that are ready and willing to help you 100% free of charge, to build your plan, compare it to what you're currently using, and if you feel it brings you value, move forward on it. If you don't feel it brings you value, throw it away. We go our merry ways, and in 15 to 20 years, you're going to look back and be like, dang it. I wrote 2 best-selling books also. Everyone Ends Up Poor is my first book. The Lost Science of Compound Interest is my second book. You can find them on Amazon, or if you want the ebook or audiobook, 100% free of charge. Just send me a direct message. I will send you the direct downloads to the audiobook and ebook. I don't want any hurdles. I don't want anyone to say, well, I didn't want to pay for the course, or I didn't want to buy the book for $20. So I have removed every single hurdle possible. Everything we do, all the DMs are for free. All the meetings are for free. The webinars, the books, 100%. This is for your edification, your financial literacy, so that you can look back and say, compound interest. When Albert Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world, the most powerful force in the universe, I discovered compound interest. And my family tree now will never worry about money ever again for the rest of generations to come. You can also follow me on my website. And of course, you're going to laugh when I tell you what my website is. compoundinterest.com.
There you go.
Of course, I'm compoundinterest.com. I own it. I've got 67 educational videos on there. Anything you want, you can DM us on there. Compoundinterest.com. Pay yourself first. Get your money working for you, and you will be on the path to financial freedom.
As
Thank you
Curtis
very much,
says,
I really, really enjoyed it.
For sure, brother. As you always say, always be compounding.
I'm Curtis Ray. Always be compounding.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to follow this guy, man. That's where I found him first. He's made me a believer. Him and I are going to get started on my account in the next 30 days. There's just so many wonderful things that you preach and teach that are tried and true that, I think everybody needs to be aware of. Tell you what, this has just been an incredible, incredible podcast, bro. My mind is blown. Every time I talk to you or hear you, it's blown, but it's just blown again with these nuggets that, you give me, that you're giving the public. It's so valuable, brother. I appreciate the knowledge. I appreciate the time. You guys don't forget to follow him online. And for everybody out there watching, reminder that we're on all podcast platforms. Make sure and like, share, and comment with your family and friends. You really appreciate it. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, stay tuned.